Last minute drama in Darwin. Sonny steals another one and more injury woes for a star Hawk. But Kane Cornes, we start with the season-defining clash for both clubs, Demons and the Crows. Both sides desperately needed this one, and it came down to the last 10 seconds. Demons' Sam Wiedemann with a shot to win it.
Heartbreaking for Sam, wasn't it? He deleted social media a couple of weeks ago, and this, on the final siren, we wasn't able to put this through, but it wasn't just him. Melbourne kicked 1 goal, 8 in the last quarter. We're going to show some of their misses and missed opportunities in front of goal, but that was the last one with 4 seconds to go, and that's their season done. Melbourne, unfortunately, just 3 wins for the season, which was remarkable because they dominated this game of footy. They were by far and away the better side, and can we say that they lost it? Adelaide didn't win this.
They led by 16 points at three-quarter time. The Demons, here are some of those misses. It wasn't just in front of goals, also marks they should have taken.
Well, this is what I talk about when Melbourne lost this. Adelaide didn't win this game of footy. Yes, they had some good moments in the last quarter, but have a look at this. If any one of these opportunities go through the big sticks, they win this game of footy. This one's tough on Hunt there on the left. That's always going to be a 2 or 3 out of 10. But these ones here, Smith there hits the post. We'll see one from Gawn in a second, which is a shot he should miss. This one from Harms on the run. If that goes through, Melbourne win it, hits the post. This is how close the season is. And in the end, the Crows are on the right side of it. Maxi Gawn, we know he's had his troubles in front of goal before. But Don Pike and the Crows elated after the game, but still got some big areas they need to work on in the game.
And whatever percentage, small percentage, whatever that be, you gave for Melbourne to make the finals this year, put a line through and they're done now. They got the Pies after the break on Queen's birthday. They're done. As for the Crows, back into the top 8, Josh Jenkins, all eyes were on him after his 6 weeks in the SANFL, and he really kick-started this last quarter fight back.
It started a bit slowly and a bit rusty in the game, which you'd expect because he spent 5 weeks out of the side and didn't play at all last week, but thought his last half was just massive for the Crows. He kicked 2 goals, 3, had 8 score involvements, 16 disposals, 7 marks. Betts was also so important late in this game. Thought Eddie Betts was probably the match winner along with Jenkins and Lynch for the Crows in the front half tonight. But why Josh Jenkins has been out of this side for so long is an absolute mystery to me, and he showed the class of why he's been such a good player and has kicked 40 plus for the last 5 years.
Tex Walker was forced to come out during the week and defend his spot in the side, as was Don Pike. How did you rate his game?
No, it was a quiet game for Tex. I thought he had some opportunities. Kicked a nice goal in the third quarter. That was about his only moment for the game. He's a player that's out of form, but they'll persist with him because he's the captain of the footy club, but just 10 disposals tonight and 1 goal and some mistakes that he made. So not sure he responded like we all expected him to, and still a long way to go for Taylor to get back in form.
The other co-captain was forced to watch on in the second half. Rory Sloane going down with this hamstring injury. The Crows, though, were able to get the win. Yeah,
well, and that's another credit to Adelaide tonight, because to lose a player like that before half-time in those conditions in Darwin, which we know is so humid and taxing on the players, so that was another big tick for them, particularly because he's probably their best player. So they've confirmed it's a slight hamstring injury, but he misses 3 weeks.
The other nail-biter of the day was at the MCG. Collingwood led by 2 kicks in the last quarter. The Dockers, on the road, they got smashed on the road everywhere last year. They've done it again, fought back at the MCG and pinched this one late.
Having an amazing season, the Fremantle Dockers. I want to show this. You can see the red sign up. That's 2 minutes to go from the Collingwood bench. Why Jordan De Goey, an experienced player, is kicking it such an inside kick. That had to go long to the boundary, force a stoppage. And this one here, this is Walters kicking the winning goal for the 2nd week in a row. Going to show this from behind the goals. Because,
how does this happen?
Well, this is modern defending going gone mad. We're going to highlight 5. He's got the ball. He's going to send an ugly mongrel kick punt inside 50. Look at the Collingwood defenders around Walters. No one wants to take responsibility for the most dangerous forward on the ground. None of them. How many circled there? There's 5. No one goes anywhere near him, and of course the ball falls into his lap. If one of those Collingwood defenders were prepared to sacrifice their game for 10 seconds, put an arm across, put a body on the most dangerous forward on the ground, the one that won the game for Fremantle last week, he doesn't mark that, and Collingwood win the game. So, I mean, Fremantle were the better side. When you look at the numbers, plus 11 in inside 50s, they win the contested ball. They have 4 more scoring shots than Collingwood. But that is just modern defence gone absolutely mad, where they want to guard space and they don't want to guard a direct opponent. Staggering vision.
And the most dangerous direct opponent as well.
Exactly right.
That's not the only Walters goal that's got everyone talking today. How about this moment in the third quarter? The Dockers were piling on the goals. This is a massive momentum shifter. This goes through. and talk us through what happens here. Still side bottom, claims it's touched on the line, but that one's missed.
Yeah, the umpire calls it a goal. Now, we're told that every goal is reviewed. So there's the touched from Main there. He's putting his hand up. It's touched off the boot. It's not touched on the goal line. Now, whoever's upstairs, this is the only angle he's looked at. This is the side bottom touched on the goal line. Clearly, it's gone over. They do not even look at the touch on Main until some 40 seconds later. It goes back, ball is bounced, that's it. Now, in a game that's decided by less than a goal, this was touched. This had to be reviewed, like they tell us, after every goal is reviewed. And I'm not sure why the person upstairs, whoever it was looking at the wrong camera angle.
The AFL has to come out and say they've got this wrong now.
Or they won't, because the AFL,
they have to,
the AFL will come out and say that they never get anything wrong. But there needs to be a process into why that wasn't looked at, and if that was a big game, this is a big one, but if a big final, can you imagine if that was a grand final?
Yep.
They lose by under a kick and they didn't even have a look at it?
Yeah. Bizarre.
It's bizarre.
Have we underrated the Dockers? This is a couple of their moments throughout the day. They got the win last week against Brisbane, and they've gone on the road and knocked off GWS and now Collingwood.
And this guy's a big part of it. I just thought Brad Hill's work rate. Now, you didn't see where he started that goal from, but I think he's the best runner in the AFL. His running capabilities are unbelievable. We know that Walters is just absolutely on fire. So their big players are coming to play. Matera's been a great pickup for them and he's having a good year. But when Fife and Mundy and Walters and Hill play well, we finally got some targets in the forward line. Thought Hogan wasn't a massive game, but he was better and showed some signs. He got Lobb competing hard in the ruck against Brodie Grundy. Then it's a great story for Fremantle this year, and all credit to them.
Just imagine if they get Harley Bennell back.
Please.
Alex Pearce goes down, misses the whole last quarter with an ankle injury. For them to do what they did without their most important key defender is another feather in their cap.
Yeah, particularly with the key forwards that Collingwood have got and the dangerous ones, Myercheck and Stevenson and De Goey, to lose their best defender. He's had a great year. We're not exactly sure what it is. Clearly they're mucking around with his ankle there, but couldn't come back on the ground and it looks serious. Okay,
to the Brisbane win now. They just keep getting it done. It was an arm wrestle all night with the Hawks, and it was 2 minutes that got that done. Firstly, this effort from Cam Rayner, improvising and bringing in his Jackie Chan impression.
Oh, he's got an amazing highlights reel. Would love to see him be more consistent. I hope that comes still a very, very young player who's having a quiet year and found it tough, but this is what he can do. He's an exciting machine. He'll bring people through the turnstiles the next 10 years at the Gabba. But
this is the next stoppage.
And this guy's won 4 best and fairest. He's an absolute star. That's from the centre bounce. Unbelievably, this bounces over the back. No Hawthorn player touches it. Just want to say to Brisbane that they have a massive opportunity this year. There's not that many good teams in the competition. I think there's 5 that have separated themselves, and you could argue Richmond are in that 5, but they did some damage to that reputation and the losses that they've had. But clearly GWS and Collingwood and Geelong are in there with West Coast.
Yep.
Brisbane can win. Brisbane can win it. There is an opportunity there where if things go right and you get on a roll, as we've seen with Hawthorn in 08 and the Bulldogs when they won it, if you get on a roll, you're able to get a top 4 position, you play some home finals, there's no reason why Brisbane can't win it, because they've beaten some quality this year.
And they're doing it with one of the best key defenders in the competition right now. We all talk about Darcy Moore, Mark Witzarves, Jeremy McGovern. This guy should be in All-Australian calculations.
Absolutely, 22 years of age, he's a genuine star. He's going to be the game's best defender very soon, if he's not already. But 20 disposals at 85%, I think, tonight. 3 contested marks, and this is what he can do. He's tough, he's courageous, he's got some X factor, as we see here. Not sure if that's Koutafidis or Harris Andrews, but just a sensational game. And it's not just tonight. He was brilliant in that loss last week in Perth, and having a fine season. And I mean, we've been speaking about him for a while, but it feels like he's just ready to break out and be a top 10, top 15 player in the game.
Now for the Hawks, they go out and get Chad Wingard last year, a 5-year, $700,000, $800,000 contract. It's his 4th soft tissue setback since the start of 2019. He did 2 calves during pre-season. His 2nd hamstring, he sat out the last quarter.
It's been a bad start, hasn't it? It's been a disastrous start for him, particularly with the players that they gave up, the Pick and Burton as well. So huge investment, not only on the draft table. We've seen what Dersman has done for Port Adelaide and how good he's been in his first year, but also the salary they're paying him, as you said, and the investment to go and get Chad Wingard. So right now Port Adelaide are saying we got that one right. I think Chad needs to look at his preparation and the way that he goes about his footy in the pre-season, what he does off the park and how he prepares himself, because You've got to take all of that into consideration. Yes, there's some luck with soft tissue, but there's also a lot about how you prepare yourself and what you do and how professional you are off the field. Not saying he's not professional, but I think he could go an extra 20, 30% and step it up if he really wants to maximise the talent that he's got, because we know that's not an issue.
And these are all the things Port Adelaide put to him at the end of last year before he left.
Yep, and he was contracted too, so Port Adelaide happy to move him on. It was a bold call, and right now Port Adelaide win that trade deal.
Feels like Groundhog Day. We're talking about another James Sicily off-the-ball incident. Does he go for this? Lincoln McCarthy was down for a little while after this hit.
I don't think he goes for it. I don't think there's a strong enough strike that's a reportable offence. But James would have to look at himself and think, why would I bother? That is just an invitation for an umpire to pay a free kick against me and a shot on goal. So I don't think he gets suspended. I think he gets off. At worst, it's a fine. But you've got to look at the reasons why he continues to put himself in risky situations and potentially cost his side the game, especially if we're talking about him as a future captain.
Yep. Geelong today. 2 games clear at the top of the ladder after Collingwood's loss. Sydney, incredibly, had more scores on goal, more shots on goal than Geelong, but the Cats just do enough. Yeah, the Cats do enough, and this was where they won. It was around the ball, and they were so strong in their stoppage work. It wasn't a strength for them last year, despite the names that they had, Geelong, on ball. They were one of the poorer clearance sides in the competition, but tonight they kicked 11 goals from stoppage. They kicked 4 from centre bounce. This is one of them that we're going to see here. And they were just too tough around the footy. You know, they're plus 18 in contested ball against a strong Sydney outfit. 11 goals from stoppage, as I said. And their big guys came to play when it mattered. Thought Kelly was terrific. Dangerfield's third quarter was unbelievable. And that man, Tom Hawkins, just continues to have a remarkable season. And he's probably second to Jeremy Cameron as the game's most dangerous forward right now. But a little bit of hot water for Tom Hawkins. He always finds himself in these clumsy situations. This happened during the last quarter. What do you make of this? It's pretty clumsy. It's going to be probably careless, but will it be great enough to get a week? I don't make much of it at all. I think there's rules in place to think that he's marked that, it's late, it's a 50-metre penalty, and that's it. I don't think we should over-dramatise that situation. It wasn't a strong... He didn't need to do it. It was stupid, it was clumsy, and it's a 50-metre penalty. But it's not worthy of anything more than a 50. OK, you spoke about Jeremy Cameron. He was dominant today for the Giants, as was this man, Stephen Coniglio, our Saturday star. Kane, run us through a few of his numbers. Have a listen to this. 36 disposals, 3 goals. We know he's added that to his game. 8 tackles, defensively strong, 15 score involvements, 4 goal assists and 8 inside 50s. That is an absolute day out. And this young man can put his head on the pillow and sleep well tonight. Love the unselfishness of this as well, handing it off to Jeremy Cameron. Is pretty ordinary defence from Gold Coast, it must be said, but where's he going to go, Mitch? Coniglio. Where's he off to? I reckon Hawthorn. Really? If he was to leave, I think there's still ways in the favour of the Giants, but of the leaders, I reckon it's Hawthorn. That'd be big. It would be big. As is this man's work on social media. Another Giant who wasn't out there today, Mel Haase. He's doing podcasts, he's busy on social media. Take us through this one. Yeah, boys, Dill Buckley, he's a fan favourite on social media, and he's tweeted for help to meet up with his long-lost twin, Elijah Wood. He's, of course, the American actor best known for playing the Hobbit playing Frodo in The Hobbit, sorry. Similarity uncanny, I love it. I want some more doppelganger recommendations from you two. Who you got similarities in the AFL? Someone called me a dehydrated lettuce. And also likened me to Ellen DeGeneres. So there's one for you. Check that out. That one. Darcy Moore, Keira Knightley. That's a very good one. Another one that I like that always gets a run is Jaguar O'Meara. Looks like Taylor Wartner from Twilight. Right. Yep, there you go. But dehydrated lettuce might be the winner there. Hey, the Dogs, they were on the plane today to Perth ahead of their match against the Eagles tomorrow. Now, they've got some weird characters. Have a look at this. Billy Gower's uploaded this one to Instagram. It's Bailey Smith doing a Rubik's Cube and Tom Liberatore giving himself another tattoo on the plane on the way over there to WA. Boys, who's the weirder of the two for you? Some quirky characters. There was a poll. Who gets your vote? Libber for me. Libber. I'm not sure how the tattooing gun passes through security. I think it was a pen situation, but the fans agreed with you. Libber won the vote, 80% of the vote. It was
definitely voted the weirdest.
Now, more flights. The Saints went over to Shanghai. They already lost Blake Acres to illness, and there's more players dropping like flies.
Yeah, this is a bizarre story. 2 Saints players have flown over as last-minute emergencies to Shanghai tonight after, as you said, Mitch, 3 players have fallen ill in Shanghai. The coach, Alan Richardson, was one of those as well. He missed a presser with illness. So this is how they're getting around Shanghai today. Jade Gresham doing everything he can to make sure he's right for the game. Jack Steele uploaded that one to Instagram. Now, the Saints, they're not the only ones dropping like flies in Shanghai. I want to show you this footage of what happened to Kane, your brother, in China today. He's wearing fluoro orange and he's in the middle. Have a look at this.
Oh no. Oh no, Chad's pinned one. You haven't? You haven't? It's a string?
6 weeks.
Oh no.
When will the assistant coaches ever learn?
Just a 100-metre race between the assistant coaches who have forgotten their playing days are well and truly past them. But 6 weeks, he reckons.
6 weeks.
He's the runner and he's out. So he's the first Cornes to ever pull a hamstring and pretty soft, if you ask me.
Oh, God, I love it. So anyway, plenty happening in China at the moment, and we look to see what happens on the field tomorrow, boys.
Thanks for that, Mel. Friday night, Rhys Shaw's first game in charge, North Melbourne. He demanded physicality from his boys, and he got plenty of that.
Yeah, and I was sort of questioned where their next young star was going to come from. That was my big question mark over North. But perhaps we saw a couple, particularly on Friday night. Zerha was just unbelievable, how physical and aggressive he was. You know, we got Larky as well. Then we got Davies Uniacke and Taron Thomas as well. So perhaps there's 4 that I've just mentioned. This kick here from Zerha, that's the kick of the year. That is the field kick of the year. I haven't seen anything
that one there.
better. That is the field kick of the year. You go back and watch that. Unbelievable skill involved, but they were tough. Simpkins, another one who I didn't even mention. Great tackle there, and he's a well-rounded player. So all of a sudden, there's some young talent that North fans can be excited about.
Simpkins is the one for me. He played in the midfield on Friday night, where he belongs. This one caught our eye as well, Kane. You demanded this get a run. Free kick, how is this missed?
Oh, this is the worst decision. There's always one every year. This is the worst decision, non-decision of the year. And this is what's confusing the footy fans and the players right now. This is why players are stopping on the ground, expecting an umpire to blow his whistle. Cochin's taking him on, tackle hasn't disposed of it, and the umpire calls play on. So no wonder the fans and us in the media are confused with some of the umpiring decisions this year.
All right, you wouldn't miss a minute of that on KO. KO lets you instantly stream over 50 sports, including every match of every round of the Toyota AFL Premiership season. You can stream all 3 of tomorrow's games, including St Kilda and Port Adelaide, Essendon's crunch game against Carlton, and the West Coast Eagles taking on the Western Bulldogs. Not only that, if you miss your team in action this weekend, you can watch the match on demand all weekend. How good's KO?
Well, you know what I love about KO? It's the split screen. So you can watch a game, you can have a little box in the corner, or you can split screen it, all available on your phone. So I'm a big fan.
Search KO Sports to start your 14-day free trial now. To the rest of those matches for this weekend, St Kilda and Port, this is pretty big.
This is big. St Kilda under the weather, so how does that affect them? Port Adelaide were there a couple of days before the Saints, maybe an advantage there, and of course they've been there before. Essendon, big one against Carlton, some big outs for the Bombers, including Shield and also Stringer. And then in the West Coast take on the Bulldogs.
Can't wait to see Ryan Gardner picked in the mid-season draft for the Dogs, for him to debut. One more thing, Kane. Not many players lose a tooth during the game, but it's stayed in Shane Mumford's mouthguard. How about this? Doing his post-game interview, clearly chipped tooth, and it's still there.
Well, he's done the right thing. I mean, if he had no mouthguard on, I would have said, well, Mummy, he probably serves you right. You should be wearing a mouthguard. But he's got a mouthguard on and he's still lost a tooth. So he's been good this year, but not great for the aesthetics.
You got 3 young boys. How important is a mouthguard?
Oh, so important, Mitch. But clearly not there.
Thanks for that, Kane.
Check in with his dentist this week.
Wet lettuce.
Dehydrated lettuce. Dehydrated lettuce.
We'll see you next week. Same time, same place on The Round So Far.